What is going on, everyone? Welcome, one and all, to a brand new streaming week here on DSP Gaming. It's Sunday, and I'm back from my break. We got a lot to talk about, man. We had an awesome marathon on Friday that included a wide variety of games, some of which I may actually be playing again, and others probably not. What we're going to do today is recap the marathon and go through the games so I tell you what I thought about each one and if it's potential for a future playthrough. But in addition to that, I've been watching some stuff. Notably, I have been watching some interesting TV shows. And so today what I'd like to do is give you my opinions on said shows, including Fallout Season 2, which I just finished last week, and the One Piece live-action show. Yeah, people asked me about that show for like ages, and I never watched it until just recently. So we're going to talk about that this morning as well. And then whatever else comes up, notably, I think what we should talk about is planning out the next marathon. Because this one, let's be honest, was kind of put together last minute, kind of smashed together. And because we didn't distinctly plan it ahead of time, a lot of people didn't know what to expect. And quite frankly, probably didn't show up live, but instead watched the videos on demand once they knew what I was playing. But I think for March, we should actually distinctly plan out what it's going to be. And I also know what the new DSP tries it's going to be tomorrow. So we've got a ton to discuss. I'm excited. You're excited. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get it going. 6 days of streaming, and this is the Level 1 Podcast. Alrighty, everybody, what is going on? Welcome back to DSP Gaming, and welcome to the Level 1 Podcast for Sunday, the 8th of February, 2026. I'm DSP, and I am ready to chill. It's going to be a great day. We got a good variety of stuff on the schedule, including the continuation of Hollow Knight on this stream, which is going to be great. We're in the Crystal Mines. We're going to hopefully wrap that up and continue on with the game. And let me tell you, I've been getting feedback on Hollow Knight, and essentially this game is a lot different than Silksong in that basically the entire game's open and you could pretty much do it in many different orders. I guess by complete chance I just so happened to be doing an order that's like different than a lot of people would do. I actually did some of the harder content of the game earlier, and now it seems like I'll be backtracking to easier stuff. So I'm excited for that. We'll see how it goes. Of course, tonight on the late stream, it's a double Indies finale. We've got the conclusion of Sharks and Minnows, which apparently I have 30-40 minutes left to finish. And then I'm going to be doing my third and final run in Terminator 2D No Fate, where we're going to see the other secret ending and optional stages. So a great day, a good variety of content. I'm very excited. I hope that you guys are too. All right, good stuff coming. And I know it's going to be a good one. Let's see who we got today. Who do we got on stream? We got Bananas Jose, clearly not Jamie, Pepe. Kevin's here. Chono Baggy. How you doing? Nature Based. Astro Cyborg, excuse me. Chris is here. Ferbs is here. Copium's here. Grandmaster Scrub. Over on the kick side, who do we got? Leopard Style Gecko. Interesting name. Azarieth. Mojito Kitty. Ghost of Willie Two Guns. Quarmoth. Roddy Trotter. Who else? Lavinia. I already said Ghost of Willie Two Guns. Charmander. Eddie Chill is here. And many more. So, good morning and welcome back. I was off from streaming yesterday. It was my day off. A well-deserved day off because, good Lord, 7 straight days of streaming last week. We covered a ton of ground, including basically me doing the ginormous amount of learning with Sagat and finally doing his ranked placements. Continuing on with a lot of different indie games, right? Actually giving RimWorld a couple of streams of advancement. Trying out various different things. Some worked, some didn't, right? Let's be honest. As we know, when I try new stuff, some stuff will be interesting and some stuff not so much. Sometimes you only want to play something once just to see what it is. And other times, maybe it's interesting and you want to continue on with an actual attempt at a playthrough. That's what it's all about this year. And last week was a whole lot of that. All right. But now we kind of see like what we're going to be doing. I am going to give Hellmart a second stream later on this week just to see how it goes. We're wrapping up indie stuff tonight. It's good stuff. This week we even have a new game or two. We got that, what is it, Chris Toll, which is a horror game that we're going to be checking out. And maybe even another one later in the week, depending on how the week goes and what people want. So I am excited for what's coming up. Shall we begin with the marathon and then move on to the other topics? I think that makes sense, okay? So Friday was a variety marathon. It really didn't have any kind of focus. Like, if you couldn't tell by just looking at the thumbnail of the marathon, we couldn't decide what the heck it was going to be. So on one hand, I had like Valentine's Day. On the other hand, we had the Super Bowl. The games weren't even pre-selected. It was just random people voting during the course of the day. So whenever you do something like that, that's not distinctly pre-planned, here's what's going to happen. You're going to have people show up. They're going to be interested. They're going to want to participate. But when the games that they want to see don't get played or selected, they take off. And that's what I actually noticed during the course of the day is the attendance was going like this. Like, you get a bunch more people, and then, oh, he's playing something I didn't want to see, and then they leave. And then they come back later, oh, what's he playing now? It's not what I wanted, and they would leave. So if you actually plan out ahead of time a distinct set of games or a theme that's going to stay throughout, you're going to get a group of people that are going to want to be there all day. And that's not what happened, and that's okay. It was actually a really good variety stream that I very much enjoyed. And in general, it seems like most people got some enjoyment out of it. Even if some of the games weren't their cup of tea, there was such a good variety of games played that almost everyone saw something that they liked. So that's a great thing. Let's talk about it. So what games did we actually end up playing over the course of Sunday? Okay, we started off with, of all things, Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord. Now, I don't even know, well, I didn't know what this game was. The Mountain Blade series has apparently been around for a while. I was under the impression that Mountain Blade was essentially a game where all you do is control a giant army of tiny little troops, much like an RTS game, you know, like Age of Empires or something like that. I had no clue that you actually play the game. Like, you actually control the commander of the troops and you do the combat and everything in real time. I thought it was more like a strategy simulation game, but I was wrong. Now, from what I'm to understand, it does actually have the ability to do that kind of strategy in it, but that's not necessarily the entirety of the game. So that's kind of interesting. I had no clue. You know, I played it for about an hour, and 30 plus minutes was me just doing the tutorial of learning how to do hand-to-hand combat, riding the horse, shooting the bow, etc. And then we kind of jumped into the real game, which was go to a town and talk to an NPC, and then go do some combat with your actual first party of troops on horseback, just kind of mowing down people on foot, which, to be honest, is insanely easy. So it's a little confusing, but that's what it is, okay? So, to be honest, I actually did like it. I thought that it was fun, and I had a good time with the game, but to be honest, is that something that I think my audience would like in 2026 as an actual playthrough? I don't know. The game formula is interesting, but it's kind of, I don't know, simple, kind of basic, kind of seems, I mean, just playing the game, it's a little outdated. I mean, the game isn't brand new, right? But, I mean, it's not that I wouldn't play it, just I don't know how much fun that would be. Like, the general consensus I got when I played it was good to see you play it, Phil, because we didn't know what it was and people had talked about it for so long, but it's not worth playing again. It was pretty boring. So, at least we checked it out, and at least I know what it is now. All right, so that's good. Then we did a full playthrough of a game in an hour and 12 minutes. It's called She Was 98. Now, I had never heard of this game before, and it was recommended because I guess there are games like this that come out all the time, on, on Steam and other places, indie games. Games that are very, very quick to play through. They're horror-oriented with some jump scares and creepy atmosphere, but they're not meant to be lengthy experiences, and because of that, they're cheap. Like, this game was $8, okay? So, She Was 98 basically is a game where your grandmother apparently has been left alone for many, many years to live in a home, but it's falling apart and decrepit, and now she needs someone to take care of her, so your parents send you to take care of her, and I guess the intention is that if she dies, you inherit the house. I don't know how that works because it said your parents sent you to take care of her, so obviously your parents would inherit the house, not you. I don't know. I'm just going with what the game story is, okay? And so basically when you go there, there is a whole bunch of jump scares. Is the grandmother alive or dead? Is the house haunted? Like, what's going on? And I'm not going to spoil. It's actually a wild ride for about an hour, and it was fun. I mean, I'll be honest, the ending wasn't the best, but at the same time, the game was full of cheap scares and funny stuff. So I actually really enjoyed playing it for the hour that it lasted. For $8, I'm not disappointed with that one at all. And basically what was explained to me is that there are a lot of games out there like that, like really quick, digestible experiences, things that aren't going to take an incredible amount of time investment to play through and beat, but that I could explore if I have like a random night stream with nothing to do. So that's pretty cool, actually, and I would like to know more of those. I absolutely would consider playing more games like that in the future. Again, not every game that I play has to be a ginormous 20 to 70 hour immersive experience. These quick little experiences seem to be quite fun, and I'm totally okay with that, okay? Then, up next, we actually tried out the classic DayZ, which is a game that I had known about for the longest time, but had never played. Keep in mind that when these games like Arma 2, DayZ, H1Z1, PUBG, when all these were prominent on PC, I wasn't a PC gamer. I had completely become a console gamer, so I didn't get exposure to most of these games when they were in their prime. And so, to finally check out a game like DayZ was a very big educational experience, okay? Now, the problem was, DayZ's on Game Pass, and guess how you play it? Through the Xbox Cloud, okay? So, it's cloud streamed. You can't even download the game. And this was a hilarious experiment. Why? Would you like to see why? I'm going to show you what it looks like when you play games on the Xbox Cloud. Are you ready for this? And for the record, this is in full 1440p HD. All right, ready? So, as you can see, I look good. My camera and everything is very clear. Watch the game. Do you see how pixelated the game is? So this is the future of gaming, everyone. No company wants you to actually own a PC or own a console. They say you don't need it. You could just stream it over the cloud. The game looks terrible. It's so fuzzy and pixelated. It looks like it's lower than 720p. And, you know, good luck trying to play any game. Look when it looks like peach fuzz like this. So here we are in 2026. Microsoft's entire thing is, your phone is an Xbox. Your TV is an Xbox. And then you go to play a game through the cloud and it looks like ass, okay? Now, I will admit, okay, it didn't play bad. It wasn't like ultra laggy with the controls. There was some delay, but it wasn't that bad. It could have been way worse, all right? But again, for them touting the fact that this is supposed to be the future of gaming, it really isn't. If anything, it just shows that the cloud gaming still to this day is not ready, and that we would need more improved internet infrastructure to actually make games work on a cloud basis, because these graphics ain't it. I mean, I'm supposed to be playing this at 4K, and it looks like it's 480p. Okay, so really pathetic and bad. Very disappointing. As for the game, I mean, I understood now what it is. It's basically the formula of like a battle royale before there was battle royale. So you're not doing battle royale. You're in an open map, and you're trying to survive against a bunch of zombies. But then there's other people that are dropping into the map as well that you could team up with to try to survive together, or you could kill each other off to try to steal each other's resources. So I get it, and the formula makes sense, and it's sound. I think that could definitely work as a game, and obviously it has, because this game, everyone knows DayZ, but basically the game just does not perform well as a cloud-based game. You know what I mean? So that was definitely an interesting experiment. Something that I wasn't, whoa, feeling the love here. Something that I had no clue was going to be on the cloud, and just playing on the cloud I thought was hilarious, okay? All right, so after I played that, everyone once again was kind of like, we're happy you played it. It's good to see you experiment with it, but don't go back to it. It's way outdated, and, you know, we don't really have interest in seeing you really playing that game again, and I tend to agree. I just don't think that in 2026, many people are going to care to see DSP try to play DayZ on the cloud, and it looks like crap, okay? So we got a few more people here. What's up, King Michael? Good to see you. I do want to shout out Fish Tank Big Boss, who had done our first contribution of the day, but he did it before the stream started. It was a $2 super chat. And he says, can we go through your Super Bowl predictions? I don't know what you're talking about. I don't follow the NFL. I don't know anything about, like, everyone says the Seahawks are going to win today. Okay. There, is that my Super Bowl prediction? I don't know anything about it. I haven't followed sports this entire season. I really don't have anything to say about it. Okay. Okay. So, apparently we got some nut jobs in Kick Chat today. Yeah, look. Oh, I know what it is. It's the same guy with all his sock accounts. He's saying this. He's just spamming the same shit. What a moron. Okay, anyway. So, continuing on with the marathon. Up next, we played a game called Deadlock, which is a new offering from Valve. And you might say, Valve? Valve is making games? I know. I mean, Valve has not consistently made any games in a very, very long time. And the fact that they're actually just making a new game to begin with is news. This one is currently in closed test, meaning not everyone can just play it. You need to get like an invite, and I happen to get an invite from multiple people. So I checked it out during the marathon, and honestly, I thought it was pretty good. Like playing it, I actually thought that the game looked good. The game performed well graphically, right? The gameplay element seemed sound. It seems like a combination of like Overwatch / Marvel Rivals, but with also MOBA elements like minions that are taking over parts of the map and stuff like that. A humongous variety of characters to pick right now. And the game's not even really live yet, but it's insane. And I guess it's based off of like gothic horror, but also like Hollywood movie monster lore, because there's werewolves, ghosts, the Frankenstein's monster, vampires, and more. So it's kind of an interesting premise, kind of like Darkstalkers almost from Capcom. I liked that. It was kind of an interesting idea. And the thing is, I didn't understand how it worked. So it's like, oh, select 4 heroes. Okay. Well, you can only play as one. Oh. And it was the one I really didn't want to use. I was interested in the other heroes more, but I played it for like one game, and I liked it. I had no clue what I was doing. Zero. But I actually found it entertaining. It definitely felt like there was layers of gameplay there to learn, but the actual, just to jump in and mess with it was actually, it controlled well. It looked good. It was fun to play, even though I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I got a few kills against humans and stuff, and I was like, oh, this is neat. So I actually really like Deadlock, and if you guys wanted to see me play that moving forward, I have the ability to. I can play it whenever I want. I'm in it right now, and I don't know how long that playtest will be going. It might be indefinite. I'm not sure, but I'm in it. Whenever people want to see me play, we'll have a random night stream. Hey, just try out some Deadlock. Let's jump in and learn the game mechanics and try some characters or whatever. We could do that. And in fact, out of all the games that I played during the marathon, Deadlock hands down got the most viewership. Seriously, like more people watched Deadlock than any other game. It actually doubled, more than doubled, the views of games such as DayZ and Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord and Digimon, which we're going to talk about in a second. Like, a lot of people were interested to see me play it because they probably had no clue I was going to, okay? So I'm definitely interested in more of it. That's definitely one I would consider playing in the future, okay? Continuing on, let's see. Up next, we tried out Marvel Cosmic Invasion, which is a side-scrolling beat-em-up, an homage to the beat-em-ups of the old days, like Final Fight or Streets of Rage or the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade game. And it plays similarly to those, although it has more advanced gameplay mechanics. I would argue it plays more like Guardian Heroes on the Sega Saturn than it does the classic beat-em-ups, but it kind of looks like the classic beat-em-ups. wide variety of characters, all Marvel characters from X-Men, but also the Avengers. So it's the wide cast of characters. And the real, I think, interesting thing about this game is that each stage has optional challenges that make it more fun than just playing through to win. You play through to get these challenges. So, use Spider-Man and kill 3 enemies at once with a web sing 3 times and stuff like that. And because of that, it makes it more fun to do because you're not only trying to survive, but also, complete the optional challenges. So I had a great time with the game. People are saying it's only around 3 hours long, but there is replayability with unlockable characters and more. Again, if anyone was interested in seeing me do that one as like a night stream, I would be totally down for that. So I'm curious if people would show up for a game like that. What is this song? I'm going to thumb this one down. Happy Country Pop, no thanks. Get that out of here. Yeah, I'd be down for Marvel if you guys wanted to. All right. So let's see how that goes and if you guys asked for it or not. And then the next game was one that people had asked me to play ever since it came out back in early October. It's called Digimon Story Mode Stranger. Now, I played the demo. And basically what this game is, it's the world of Digimon, but with a big, heavy story rather than it being gameplay focused. There is combat gameplay, similar to, say, a Pokemon game, where you have these Digimon that you're training, and each one has strengths and weaknesses against each other, and you have these turn-based battles. But there's also a lot of story going on. So we played it for about 40 minutes, and I just basically got a tiny, tiny taste of what this Digimon game was. I wasn't turned off or anything like that. Let me put it that way. But I will say this. I just got out of a over 60-part Pokemon playthrough. I really don't have any desire to play the Digimon game right now. I don't. I'm sorry, but, I'm kind of tired of that genre of game. It's very similar to the fact that right now Neo 3 is out, and people are like, I just don't understand why you're not playing Neo 3. And the answer is simple, because I'm just all tired of Soulsborne. I feel like the Soulsborne genre is very played out at this point. I'm just not having fun with it. I have no desire to play one. The only situation where I would play a Soulsborne is I was actually playing one from Software. Like if we went and played Dark Souls 2 or 3 with mods or something like that, that I would enjoy and consider. But I'm not going to go and play just another Soulsborne. I'm tired of that formula, that genre. I like Pokemon, but I wouldn't want to play Pokemon and then Pokemon, you see? So playing Pokemon, just finishing the playthrough, and I'm not going to play Digimon now, And in fact, sadly, I think that's kind of what happened. If Digimon had come out at another time of the year last year, I probably would have played it, but it came out at the same time as Pokemon. So I wasn't going to play both, Anyway, I would consider the Digimon game in the future, but we got to give it some time. We got to give it some time to rest. If anything, will there be Pokemon? There will, but not what you're thinking. Next month, there's a game coming out on the Switch 2 called Pokopia. And what this is a hybrid of a sim chill game such as Animal Crossing, but with Pokemon characters. So you'll get some taste of Pokemon, but it just won't be a standard Pokemon game. It'll actually be something a little different. So I think that'll actually work, as opposed to if I just play Digimon right now, it's going to be almost more of the same of what we just did with Pokemon for 60 hours, and I just don't want to do that right now. Okay, so it's a possibility for the future. It's just a not right now game. Okay, and then to end the marathon, you guys voted for Street Fighter 6, which I thought was funny because I'm like, dang, we had all these new games in the running, and at the end of the marathon, people just wanted more Street Fighter. Now, I think what it was there was a gimmick that I've been drinking all day. I mean, I think I had 2 Cutwaters. I had, probably 4 or 5 different shots of the whiskey cocktails that I had. And didn't I have something else too? I feel like I did, but maybe I didn't. So I had a lot to drink over the course of the day, so I was definitely buzzed. And then I go online, I'm trying to play with Zangief, and I'm like, my reactions are terrible, my execution's awful. What's funny is I still beat some people. I'm shocked I even beat a few people, but I did. I think I was like 10 wins and 14 losses or something like that, of course. Plus, I fought a bunch of top tiers. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm in casual play, and it's like Cammy, Jury, everyone playing hard. I'm like, what the fuck? It's casual play, and I'm drinking. Like, what is happening with this fucking game that everyone's a tryhard, right? But I had a good time doing it. I did. I actually had a good time with the Street Fighter stuff. And it was just a good time. But overall, the marathon was a good time. I'm glad that we did a good variety of stuff. Okay, if anything, what was the one bad thing? There was one standout, really, really bad thing about Friday's February Gaming Marathon. The food. The food that we had ordered was terrible. The teriyaki chicken did not have much or any teriyaki sauce on it, so only the top layer was tasty. The General Tso's chicken was almost flavorless. It didn't have any real appeal. It was just kind of bland chicken. The fried rice was completely bland and had almost no, like, friedness to it. It was almost like plain rice. The egg roll was completely overcooked and tasted absolutely disgusting. And what else? There was something else, too. Like, it all was bad. The entire meal was disgusting. So, I was pretty sad because I was looking forward to it. You know, I'm drinking all day. I'm like, all right, now my tummy needs some food, right? And I go to eat. I'm like, oh, this is awful. So, yeah, it just wasn't that good of a meal. But outside of that, it was a good time. And like I said, the whole point was just to chill. To have a day split off from my normal, oh, here's a giant gameplay segment of one game, then a giant gameplay segment of another game. Let's do something a little different. And it worked out. I had a great time. Support was good. I ended up making more than I would have on a normal day. So I'm pleased with that. Like, everything was good. So thank you guys. It was a great marathon. I had a good time. But what I think we need to do now, we need to get back to the regular schedule of marathons that make sense because we plan them out and then people can get hyped for them. And so what should the next marathon be? Right? We really should try to plan this out for early March. By the way, let me lower this a little bit. That sounds a little loud. So, what should the marathon in early March be? There's a lot of different ideas floating around out there, but there's been distinctly something that people have talked about for a bit. I'm feeling it now because now it's been many months since we did it, all right? I want to do something that relates to, like, older games or classic games. So, the two ideas I have are either a marathon where we actually do a variety of older classic games, whether that be Mario, Sonic, Castlevania, Metroid, you know, whatever. Or it could be themed to one game, particularly finishing up what I started last year. If you don't remember, in January of 2025, I did a Mega Man marathon where I played Mega Man 1, 2, and 3. Then later on in September, or it was August and then September, I did 2 more marathons. And one of them I finished 3 and I played 4 and 5. And another one I finished like 5 and I played like 6 and 7 and started 8. So we got through like 7.5 Mega Man games, but we didn't finish 8. And then we still got 8, 9, and 10. So I could do the final finale marathon of Mega Man where we beat 8 because we're halfway through it. And then we play 9 and 10 and we wrap those games up too. I'd be down for that. Keep in mind that when I play those games, I drink. So it's not like, oh, he's just playing Mega Man. It's like he's playing Mega Man, but he's drinking. It's making it more challenging. And to be honest, I totally remember that when Mega Man 9 came out, which was Xbox 360 era, it was a digital-only game at the time, that game destroyed me. That game is legit really hard. And so that would be pretty interesting to try to play through that while I'm buzzed, okay? So that's my 2 ideas. I would like to talk about it in the next couple of weeks. I want to hammer this in like right now, okay? I want to say, when are we doing it? Let's decide right away. So that way it's already planned out. We've already got people excited for it. And if people want to come by for it, which by the way, it would be Friday, the 6th of March. That will be the day that we do it. Friday, the 6th of March, okay? People already know what's going on and can get hype and show up. Because again, I really do feel like the disappointing thing about the marathon was just that people didn't know what was going on. So they would show up and vote, oh, the game that I wanted didn't get voted in, and then they would leave. And then a lot of people did watch the videos after the fact over yesterday, which is nice that they did. But it would have been nice to just have more people at the marathon because they were disappointed that we were just playing random games and not what they were wanting, right? So in this case, hey, build it up. People who actually want the whatever's in that marathon, they'll be there for it. So whether it's Mega Man or whether it's a variety of classic games, and maybe we can decide what those games are. By the way, another thing, Atari games. When I grew up, I would play the classic Atari games like Dig Dug, Jungle Hunt, okay, Pole Position. These are games that are part of my childhood. We could get the Atari collection and play each one of them for a few minutes just to get a flavor of what Atari was back in the day and what these games were like, and get a laugh at how bad they play today. But, I mean, this is the evolution of gaming. That could be part of the day, too. Okay, so let's start talking about it. Like, what would you guys think? How about this? Let's do a quick poll. Let's see what you guys think in the chat. Not that this is going to be binding or anything like that, but I'd like to get a general idea. What do you think would be something successful for this upcoming marathon? All right. I do think it should be retro. The theme of the marathon should be retro. But the question is, what retro? All right. So let's do a poll. And by the way, during the marathon, I gave out all the gifted memberships for the month, 10 gifted memberships. So anyone who got them, I hope that you guys enjoy. I'm going to say the Mega Man Marathon finale, Atari Classics, or Nintendo Classics, okay? You guys vote. Let's see what you vote on in the next few minutes. Again, not saying that this is binding and this is definitively what we're going to do, but I'm just getting a general idea of what the people on the podcast this morning think, okay? Someone just tipped me $2. It says, how much support to play Mario Kart World Online? 0. I'm not playing that again. I've already played it for about a month when it came out. I got incredibly bored with it because I did everything with it. I unlocked all the characters. I didn't get every outfit for every character, but in general, I unlocked most of the content that was meaningful. I won multiple times in the World Circuit thing. You know, I won it. I even won a lobby against all my detractors stream sniping me. I still won. And after that, I was like, there's just nothing left to do in this game. It's incredibly boring. It's no surprise, or no, I should say, no secret that I didn't like it that much. I actually feel that Mario Kart World is one of the worst ones they've ever made. It's just not very competitive. It's very stupid that it's about banking items and taking advantage of said overpowered items rather than driving well. So I just don't care about the game. I think it's like a fart in the wind where literally Nintendo knew they didn't make a good game, so they lied about the content and claimed there would be this meaningful open world that's completely worthless and has no value at all. And then they charged more for it, knowing everyone would be done with this game within a month, but that's okay because then they released Donkey Kong Bonanza. So basically, oh, don't look over there anymore at that game that you're already bored with. Here's the new one. See? That it was a bait and switch, and they obviously knew what they were doing because everyone bought both Mario Kart World and Donkey Kong Bonanza who bought a Switch too because there was nothing else to play. So that's my take. You can disagree, but I just don't like the game. So under no circumstances will I be accepting money to play it. It's boring as dirt, and I'm not going to waste my time with it. Okay. Cool. All right, so that was the marathon, and it was a good one. I had a great time. Again, thanks to everyone who was there for it. So before we get to our next topic, there is one thing that I would like to bring up about today. All right, today is the American Super Bowl, meaning in the NFL National Football League, the big game is today. It's the Seattle Seahawks, which are my hometown team, against the New England Patriots, who kind of used to be my old hometown team when I lived in New England of the United States. I used to live in Connecticut, okay? So it's kind of interesting because isn't this also a rematch from 2014 when the Seahawks were coming off of their previous year's Super Bowl victory and then they choked at the very end and lost like 28-24? I remember seeing it. I was actually watching that game and I was like, they totally had the game won, and they just blew it completely. It was such a joke because they decided to keep passing. Instead of running, all they had to do was run the ball, and they kept passing, and they just blew it completely, right? So, yeah, so here we are with the big rematch, and I know that today, a lot of people will be watching the Super Bowl. I'm well aware of that. So today, I would not be shocked if I have a lower attendance than I usually do, if I have a lower engagement and lower support. I would not be shocked whatsoever if that's the case. And if it is what it is. I can't help it, right? I'm not going to sit here and talk about and play and watch the Super Bowl or whatever. I'm not into it. I don't watch the NFL. But I am going to stream my normal stuff. We are going to have this Hollow Knight stream right now, and then my break, and then after the break, I'm going to come back and play the indie games of Sharks and Minnows and Terminator 2D No Fate on the late stream. I know that when I'm playing some of those, the Super Bowl will be on, and that's okay. You know, if you want to check stuff out after the fact on demand, I'm going to upload the videos as I always do to this channel, okay? And thank you to those who are actually here to chill with me, despite the fact that I know there's a huge worldwide event going on that a lot of people will be paying attention to. Thanks for spending your time with me. Now, this month, for February, I created a special animation for a $100 contribution. I'm going to spoil it now. It's Super Bowl related. I purposefully made this grand animation for a $100 contribution. And as of now, the 8th of February, I haven't gotten a $100 contribution this month. I'm not complaining. The support this month has been great. All right, overall, streams are doing great. So this is now Phil's bitching. He didn't make $100. Here we go. Here comes the clip. Send it to fucking live stream fails and loser Redditors who are going to fucking watch it and believe it because they're dumb fucks, right? No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I have this animation. It's not, by the way, it's nothing special. I didn't design it in some fucking, it's just something I got off the internet, okay? But if you do a $100 contribution today, maybe you were thinking of contributing and haven't yet, well, it would be a special animation. It would make sense for today. After today, because it's Super Bowl related, it really won't make much sense anymore. I'm just saying, okay? So there you have it. If you're interested in contributing, if you do $100, you'll see that special animation, and it's very pertinent to today only. So there you go. Okay. So the polls are in, and it looks like Nintendo Classics. People are interested in a Nintendo Classics marathon. So if that's the case, and let's say that we do Nintendo Classics for the March Marathon, the question would be, how would we format this? Would it be themed? Like, would it be all Mario? And would it be like challenge runs? Or would it simply be, gee, see how far Phil can get in like Mario 1, 2, and 3 in one marathon, right? Because Mario 1 is a short game. And even if you just play at a semi-competent level, you can beat it in like a couple of hours, if that. Mario 2 also, as long as you're playing semi-competently, you could probably beat it in a couple of hours. So I could probably beat at least those two. Mario 3 is a much longer game. So we could try to figure that out. Or if you guys have other ideas, the only thing I would say is I wouldn't want to do like a Castlevania marathon because I already played the 4 of those games a few years ago during a summertime. But, you know, if you want to see me play Metroid, like Super Metroid, which I have on the Switch Online, and I love the game, but have never actually played through it. I only played it for like an hour or two, and I liked it, but I never got further than that, you know? Escape Velocity says the top 10 NES games on Metacritic. We could do that. We could go to Metacritic and search NES and see what games are the highest rated and see if they're available to play. So, yeah, I guess we should figure this out. Okay? Let's see. But now we know what we're doing. We're doing a retro marathon on March 6th. The question is just what's the criteria? And now we can work on that moving forward. Okay, so that's good. Rose Diamond says maybe the first game of every series. That makes sense, except, for example, Mario I can beat easily. But Zelda, forget it. That's hours and hours long. Maybe only play like an hour of Zelda just to get a flavor of the beginning of the game. We could do maybe play an hour of each game. We could do that too, yeah. Maybe a 1 hour segment of each classic Nintendo game just to get variety for the marathon. That could be fun. People have been asking me for retro stuff for a while now. So I want to give people what they want because they've been like, man, you do so much modern stuff. Can you do some throwback stuff? So there you go. Maybe this is going to be a good opportunity to get a different kind of gameplay on the channel. Cool. Yeah, Big Mac says, what about Battletoads? Battletoad, we could do an hour of Battletoads, an hour of Mario, an hour of Zelda, an hour of Metroid, right? Let's think of all the big classics. We could do that. That could work. Okay, cool. All right, folks. Well, we initially now have our idea for the next marathon. Let's now work on refining it. We don't have to set it in stone today, but let's just say that DSP's Retro Day or Retrothon, DSP's Retrothon will be on March 6th. There you go. March 6th, variety of retro games here on the channel all day long. And what we'll do is we will determine what the games will be early so people know what they're going to see first. So we know they're showing up for it. There you go. This is exactly how it works, right? Exactly. Heartbreaker says, and marathons can lead to full playthroughs if you're having fun. Exactly right. What if we do a Retrothon and we play all these games for an hour and people were like, wow, you never played Zelda? We'd love to actually see you play the first Zelda in its entirety. Okay, sure. Right? We could do that later. There we go. Okay. Good stuff. All right, now, for my next segment, what I would like to talk about is some TV shows that I've been watching recently, because I don't usually talk about this stuff because I don't really usually watch this kind of stuff. But recently, a few things have happened. So first off, the Fallout TV show just had its season 2. It started back in, late 2025, and it just concluded this last week. It's 8-episode run. And people have been asking me all along, what did I think about it? And what's funny is, at least the impression that I got on the internet from following people talking about it on social media, it's like people who liked season 1 and are fans of the season 1 have loved season 2 and think it's amazing. People who are like hardcore fans of the Fallout series, people who like study the intricacies of the lore of the games and create ginormous fan fiction about it and make insanely long video novels about it, on YouTube. And they you know what I mean? These really hyper analyzing people, which I don't understand. It's just a game. Those people hate Fallout. They absolutely hate this freaking show for some reason. Don't ask me why, but they just think it's atrocious. They're like, it's not in line with what we know of the lore from the games. There's no way this possibly could have happened or this happened or that. And all I'm thinking about in my head, right, is essentially, if you are a fan of Fallout, all right, you love the series, all right, you've always liked the series, whether it's the original games, the more recent ones that are first-person RPG exploration games, whether you're a fan of Fallout 1 and 2, or maybe 3 and New Vegas, maybe you're a fan of 4, maybe you're a fan of 76, whatever it may be. The only content, gameplay-wise, that we're actually getting of Fallout right now is Fallout 76. That's it. Bethesda is literally not making any other content in the Fallout universe right now. They're not even working on a new Fallout game because they're claiming that everyone is working on a new Elder Scrolls, even though that seems like it's years and years out, right? So if that's the case, if the only content you're going to get in Fallout is going to be Fallout 76 or the Fallout TV show, don't you think that maybe, just maybe, you'd be a little bit more lenient in the way that you talk about the show? Listen, I saw season 1 just like all of you. And I told you, I thought that there were some things there that didn't really make sense. Like, for example, how they redesigned the lore of ghouls, right? That ghouls in the show are definitely not how ghouls are in the games in any way. They even have this thing, you have to keep taking this medicine to stop transforming and stuff like that, right? And that's not in the games. That's completely fabricated for the show. A lot of people are upset because if you remember in season 1, they announced, the NCR is probably completely destroyed. And a lot of people liked them as the heroes of New Vegas. They liked that choice you could make in the plot. And if they're all gone, that's messed up, right? So stuff like that. And I get it. I totally get it. But what Todd Howard has said, Todd Howard, who again, head of Bethesda and got the guy who's kind of in charge of this lore and stuff, said, listen, what we're doing right now with the show will be considered canon. When we make another Fallout game in the future, it's going to be in line with the show because the show is basically what we're doing with Fallout right now. So it's like, you can do one of two things. You can either accept that, watch the show and be a fan of it, or you can say, all right, well, I don't like what they're doing with that. I will abstain and I'm done with Fallout. But instead, what people on the internet tend to do is become entitled babies. And they sit there and they whine and they stomp their feet. No, this isn't our lore. This isn't our game. This isn't what we expect. This isn't what we deserve. What is going on? The show's lore sucks. It's like, dude, get a life. Seriously, get a fucking life. If all you do is hyper obsess about some pop culture thing on the internet and you're mad that they're doing something with it you don't like, then move on, right? They do it with everything. It's not just Fallout. They do it with everything. You know how Star Wars just went off the deep end with that latest trilogy of movies, and now they're doing these shows that are hyper woke and shit? There are people who just can't get over it, and they're like, oh my God, just move on. If something that you once liked has been ruined by people who are now taking control of it, and they've ruined it and you don't like it, just stop caring and do something else. You don't have to sit here and be a miserable human on the internet, but it seems like a lot of people are like that. They can't let go things they don't like, right? Like, listen, I personally do not like the Super Mario Brothers movie. I think that it's pretty bad. I didn't like it at all. I was bored to tears watching it. I thought it was chaotic. It just threw away 25 years of Mario games and lore to appease a bunch of modern kiddies who just wanted to see ADD flashy lights and shit, right? Do I sit here every day talking about the Mario movie? Do I get so upset about it? I'm like, no, it sucks. I don't like it. And then we move on. But there's some people who just can't stop fixating on shit, okay? And it seems like those are the most vocal people talking about Fallout Season 2. For me, watching Fallout Season 2, I absolutely loved it. Now, FYI, spoiler free. I am not going to spoil Fallout Season 2 because it's brand new, and many of you probably haven't had a chance to watch it in its entirety, right? So all I will say is this. It extrapolated and continued plot lines from Season 1. In some cases, these plot lines directly follow the lore and plot lines from Fallout New Vegas and actually give you answers like what actually happened to the NCR? What happened to the Brotherhood of Steel? Why was the Brotherhood so different in Season 1 from what we know from the game? What happened to Mr. House, right? Who won the big fight in New Vegas that was happening during Fallout New Vegas, the video game? All these answers are given in Season 2. The problem is a lot of people don't like the answers. Well, I thought that this was going to happen, and according to the show, it didn't, so I'm upset now. But you're not writing the show. You know what it is? Because Fallout New Vegas was so unique in the way that it designed its plot, where you would choose your own ending, right? You could side with the NCR, you could have the Brotherhood be your allies or villains, or the Enclave too for that case, right? The Enclave was involved in Fallout New Vegas, right? You could side with Caesar's Legion, or you could go with Mr. House, or you could go with Yes Man and be your own deal, and you could basically be the orchestrator of the future of the Mojave. And because of that, it made you feel like you were powerful and your choices were meaningful. So now they've taken all of that away from you. All that amazing power that you had during Fallout New Vegas. Now it's up to the show writers to determine what actually happened to the Mojave. And a lot of people are upset about that because they're like, well, you've undermined everything that we've liked for the last 15 years since New Vegas came out. You know, you're telling us that didn't happen. Well, that's bullshit because we liked that ending and now that ending isn't canon anymore. Exactly. That's exactly right. I think people are shocked with the choices that were made and made part of the plot of the Fallout Season 2 show. I still liked it. Like, let me put it this way. The acting, the cinematography, right? The sets. Oh my God, the sets look exactly like the game. Like they're dead on representations of what was in the game. And that's a huge accomplishment. Now, this is a minor spoiler, but it's not a plot spoiler. Sadly, you never really get to go to any of the casinos from the game, which is one of the major focuses of Fallout New Vegas, is you're going into each casino and each group has their own lore and stuff. That sadly doesn't happen during the show. And I think, let's be honest, it's because of limitations. If the show had unlimited budget and it was running for 20 episodes a season, they probably would have went in and you would have seen what happened with each of the families on the strip. They don't do that because they have to go through an insane amount of plot in 8 episodes. So because of that, it's kind of written out. And you're like, oh, would have liked to see what happened to the Hyper Lux Cannibals or what happened to the Gangsters of Gomorrah. Like, what happened to these groups? Well, you never find out. It's just kind of written out of the story. But in general, advancing the plot of everything, like everything's in there. There is updates on Caesar's Legion, on the NCR, on what happened with Mr. House, what happened with the robots. What do they call them? The something trons that, you know, he was trying to control New Vegas with. If anything, I will say there are a couple criticisms that I have about Fallout Season 2. I'll be fair. Okay, criticism number 1. They continue on with certain plots based on Season 1 that don't seem to go anywhere, or by the time that they go somewhere, it's the final episode of the season and you don't really care. Like, there's a plot line regarding the original vault from Season 1, when all hell broke loose, the invaders came in and all of that, and that's what, you know, oh my God. Well, it keeps following some of those vault dwellers. Who cares? The plot has moved out of that vault. The plot is out in the Mojave now, you know, with the strip. Who cares about what the hell's still going on with those vault dwellers? Now, there is a twist and a spin at the end of the season that explains, oh, this is why it's probably significant. But I don't care. I'm bored. Every time that they would go to the vault dwellers, they're like, can we get to the next scene? Like, fuck this. This is so boring. Similarly, if you remember, Lucy has a brother. I can't even remember what the fuck his name is. Really, I don't remember his name at all. And what's hilarious is he seems to be written out of the plot of the vault. No one from the vaults asks where he is. They just forgot all about this guy. Okay? So he's off doing his own thing with a different group of vault dwellers. And no one, it doesn't really go anywhere. until the very, very final episode. Again, it seems like it might tie into a plot from like a future season. And it's like, why did we waste all this screen time on this shit? Like, why? We could have easily just had them be saved for later and then focused on the other stuff more. To that effect, the things that you want to know the most about, you know, things that tie to New Vegas, a lot of them sadly are really, really rushed through. Like, gee, I wonder what ever happened to that Kings gang. Oh, you find out in like a side scene that's like 5 seconds. Like, oh, well, that sucks. They were a whole big part of the game, and they were like brushed aside with a broom because they wanted to have other things be the focus of the plot. So yeah, in that regard, I was disappointed. And I will also say, sadly, okay, I will say this. I feel like 8 episodes isn't enough for this show. If this was like a 10 to 12 episode season, it would have had more time to do things, because I do feel like certain things would have been better if they were focused on more, but instead they're kind of rushed through because you're like, oh, we only have 8 episodes. We have to hurry and get this done in 8 episodes, right? But I will say this. I was afraid, okay, that basically they were going to finish the entirety of the New Vegas plotline in one season and then rush to something else. But I was happy because there was all these climactic things that happened in the final episode of season 2, but it's not over. It's very clear they're going to continue with more stuff in New Vegas in season 3. So I was like, whew, that's good. That's good to hear, right? It is good to hear that basically. And by the way, everyone who's saying insulting things in chat, enjoy your bans. I don't know what the fuck's your problem. I'm talking, you stupid idiots. Either listen or fucking leave. Shut the fuck up over on Kick. You guys are obnoxious little brats. Jesus, you fucking, I swear, I'm sitting here to like, oh, let's make fun of his looks today on stream together. This is fun. Shut the fuck up. The king is talking, bitch. Shut up and listen or leave. I'm not going to listen to your little whiny shit. You're trying to be stupid and get attention. Shut the fuck up. Here's your crash out for the day. Eat my fucking ass. I'm talking, bitch. Okay. Okay. Now, as I was saying, I'm happy that it looks like a lot of the interesting things in New Vegas will continue in season 2. Because if they had said, oh, we're now done already with New Vegas, 100%, it would have been disappointing, like they rushed through it too much. But I'm happy. In fact, like I said, there was big climactic things that happened at the end of season 2. That's obvious. It's just starting a new plot that's going to happen in season 3, but it's taking place in New Vegas. Okay? The one thing I am worried about, it's this simple. I think that they've got so many characters going now that we might get confused. It might become Game of Thrones all over again. I don't want it to be Game of Thrones all over again. The problem with Game of Thrones is that there were too many characters, too many plot lines, everything going on at once, and it either becomes impossible to follow it all or you just don't care about half of it. And I don't want Fallout to be that. I want it to be like, focus on Lucy, focus on the ghoul, right? Maybe focus on Maximus and maybe one other character. Just give us 3 or 4 plot lines to follow, and that's it. I don't need 17 different divergent plot lines that somehow we're supposed to keep track of. It's not going to work. And sadly, I think that's what's happening. Like, for example, the ghoul is going one way. Lucy is doing one thing with Maximus, but then Lucy's brother is over here doing something, but now the Vault Dwellers are doing something, and there's actually another plot going on somewhere else all at once. Like, whoa, huh? It gets frustrating, right? So I hope that they will get more focused in season 3. Maybe just 2-3 major plots. That's all we need. I don't want to waste time with entire parts that I'm bored with because I don't care about what's going on here. Just get to the point, okay? But overall, I actually really liked Fallout Season 2. Again, the acting, the cinematography, the sets were absolutely breathtaking. The storyline actually went somewhere and was fun. Like, even though a lot of people hate, oh, I hate what they've done with Mr. House, and I hate what they've done with the NCR and what they've done with this. It's not your story to tell. It's just not. It's up to them to decide what they want to do with their lore or whatever. And if you don't like it, sadly, this is what you're getting. They're not making a game, so you either watch it and accept it or you move on. And listen, I get it. If you're someone who loves New Vegas and you just don't like what they have done with the show now because it's not what was in your expectations of what was going to happen with the plot, that's within your ability to say, I just don't like this, let's move on. I get it. But at the same time, don't become one of these people that's hyperfixated and so angry and I can't... There's more to life than focusing on this game that you liked and now you're sad and upset and butthurt because they're not doing exactly with it what you expected, you know? For me, I'm along for the ride and I'm having a good time and I just don't really care that they didn't do what a lot of people thought was going to happen with this, honestly. So I love season 2. Notice I didn't really tell you any spoilers at all because I could give you my thoughts on specific plot points and things, but I'm not going to waste, you know, it's too fresh. The show is just way too fresh for me to be spoiling. Now, on the flip side of that, the other show that I want to talk about is the One Piece live action show. And One Piece has been out for so damn long, there's no way I could possibly spoil it. Not even just the show, but the actual anime and manga, right? So at least with One Piece, I could talk more specifically about things going on, which I'm going to, okay? All right. So, let's see here. What? Someone tipped $1.97 comparing the Fallout TV show to Street Fighter 6 the game. They're not the same. Sorry. They're not the same thing. Not even close. In fact, that was the point I was making, is that with a TV show, you cannot possibly have a choose-your-own-adventure style ending. You can't decide if Caesar's Legion, the NCR, Mr. House, or Yes Man are the person or persons who dominate the Mojave. It's a TV show. They're going to write the plot, okay? So you just have to accept it, right? In the case of Street Fighter 6, this is a competitive video game. And if people don't like the gameplay elements of a game, they can criticize them. Just like, again, you're free to criticize this show, but if you don't like it, don't just sit and hyperfixate on it. Just move on, right? So that's, you know, hey, if you don't like Street Fighter 6, you absolutely abhorrently hate it. Don't hyperfixate on it. Move on. I did that for a year, right? And I just recently went back because I started craving fighting games and people seem to like seeing me play them again. So we're sticking with it for now, but there should be a point where I'm like, you know, I'm fed up with Street Fighter again. I'm done. You know, we'll maybe go back to it later. But yeah, that's, you know, so I don't know what your point is, but thanks for $2. Okay, so one show down, one more to go. Guys, if you are chilling and enjoying today's Return Level 1 podcast, first of all, thank you for being here. Part of the live audience attendance is pretty good today. If you're here, please give this stream a like if you're enjoying it. Let's get the engagement up so that more people can find the channel and or enjoy the content here on DSP Gaming. Thank you for that. Now, if you're having a good time, please consider contributing to the stream in some way. If you're on the YouTube side of things, you could become a member or give some memberships to your fellow viewer, or you could do a super chat, right? If you're on the Kick side, you could send some kicks my way, or you could become a sub or do some gifted subs to your fellow viewer. It would be great to get some support on the Kick side right now because we haven't had any yet today. We had one singular super chat earlier. It would be great to get more super chats on the YouTube side. And of course, you can tip me via PayPal no matter where you are or how you're watching. Even if you're on demand watching this, you can tip me by looking at that tips link in the description of the video. All right, and thank you to anyone who does. Right now, we got a couple of small tips. Let's get some support for the Level 1 podcast today. Now, keep in mind, after the podcast ends, we will be playing a major stream of Hollow Knight. That should be fun. Hollow Knight has been doing very well, and I'm excited to continue on with the playthrough. It's a great game. So I hope that you'll stick around after the show, and if you like Hollow Knight, you'll support that as well, if you can, okay? Very good. All right, now, in regards to the One Piece live-action show, I finally got around to watching it, okay? It's 8 episodes, was it? I think it was 8 episodes, just like the Fallout TV show was, and it was interesting for a few reasons, all right? So, number one, it pretty much follows very closely the plot line of real One Piece, the anime. I don't know about the manga because I've never read the manga, but as for the anime, yeah, it's close. They didn't change that much. The characters are very close to how they behave in the show, even with their little little eccentricities and their little mannerisms and things like that. The looks of the characters are pretty close, I would argue. You know, maybe you said, well, Nami's face is different. Well, yeah, because there's no such thing as an anime girl. Like, they don't exist. There's no girls that have tiny button noses. You know what I'm saying? Like, they couldn't actually cast someone who looks like Nami. She'd look like a freak. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, I don't understand. Usopp is supposed to have a long nose like Pinocchio. Yeah, how many humans have that? Exactly. You know, they're trying to make it look like real people are the crew, not cartoon characters. So I get that they selected these people that aren't like dead-on representations. But if you're trying to take the cast of an anime and make it realistic, I think they did a pretty darn good job. Like Luffy, you know, being Hispanic and having these kind of mannerisms and things, it kind of fits the character. Even though you never would have thought of that watching the anime, when they translate it into, okay, well, Luffy actually now he's a Hispanic guy and he has these mannerisms and things, and that makes sense. You're like, oh, I get it. That makes sense. You know, now it kind of clicks. Like, oh, okay. You know? So I like what they did there with the casting, quite frankly. I think they did a good job. In fact, the only criticism that I have about the casting of, like, the main crew is that the guy that they got to play Sanji doesn't really have time to shine. Like, he's introduced near the end of the series. Like, I think it's, like, episode 6 or 5 and 6 is when he gets recruited. And then there's only one arc where he's a part. And even then, he doesn't get a lot of, like, screen time. So Sanji feels like he's kind of really rushed through, while Luffy and Zoro and Nami get a lot of time. And even Usopp feels like his arc is like a lot of time. You know what I think it is? The Sanji arc takes place on, what is it, the Bartier restaurant, and 2 plots are going on at once, right? You have the Sanji plot, but then you also have the plot with the Warlord of the Sea showing up and dueling with Zoro, and that takes a lot of time away from Sanji. So while Usopp got like 2 episodes to be introduced, it felt like Sanji was like kind of really rushed, right? So I do think like that could have been better. But let me tell you, first of all, I noticed distinct changes. All right, making this a American show versus a Japanese anime, right? There's almost no gore whatsoever. Like, all the blood, gore, and violence. Like, there's violence, but it's all cartoony, right? Like, think about it. In the anime, these characters are getting beat the crap out of all the time. There's a lot of blood and wounds and things, and that's almost been completely removed from the show. It doesn't feel like it's like, you know what I mean? Like, no gore, danger, or heavy violence at all. Also, a lot of the sexualized content that Japanese anime has, you know, scantily clad women and stuff like that, pretty much all removed from the show, okay? Some people who are like hardcore fans of One Piece are going to be so upset. Oh my God, everyone's not half naked, right? So I get it. Like, some people might be like, well, that's not in the spirit of the show. But you have to understand, they were basically making this, they're Americanized, and they wanted to make it, is it a teen, rated teen? I don't think it's rated mature, is it? Like, each episode maybe has one swear word that's like, oh shit, and that's it. I don't think the F word is ever said. So it definitely is meant to be like a teen rated show. Now, because of that, a lot of the violence and combat is toned down. So, for example, in regards to some of the big fights that happen early on in the plot lines, right? You know, the fights against all the fishmen and stuff like that. There's like no real major combat at all in the show. It's a quick fights, right? I'll give you an example. Well, I forget the name of the fishman, but there's a fishman who, like, his specialty is that his projectiles, like, he shoots things out of his mouth, he drinks, and then he like shoots projectiles and things. This is built up in like 5 episodes of the show, where he's like kicking everyone's ass and everything, and no one can beat him. And the big culmination is that eventually Usopp fights him by accident. Like, it's not set up like that, but Usopp finally gets courage. He sets the guy up, he traps him, he plays his strengths against his, and he wins, he beats the guy. But it feels like this big triumphant thing in the anime. In this show, this lasts like 2 minutes. So they just completely like turbo through things to make it a fast-paced thing. I mean, the show is 8 episodes. It covers like 5 story arcs of the actual anime, right? You've got the original arc where it's Luffy, Nami, and Zoro against the Marines, right? That's arc 1. Well, technically, now that I'm thinking about it, the beginning of that arc is when Luffy fights the original pirate crew, and he frees the kid, and then the kid becomes part of the Marines, and then there's the Marine plot line. So that's like plot 1. Then there's What's the second plot? I'm trying to remember the order. The Boogie, the clown plot is the second part, right? Then there's Usopp's plot on his island. Then there's the Bartier plot. And then there's the finale against the Fishmen. So that's like 5+ like seasons or arcs of One Piece, right? And they do it in one season of this show. So there is like no filler in this show. It is like moving constantly. There's plots going. There's characters that are introduced, and in one episode they're already gone from the show. That's like holy shit. But I think it's because they're moving so fast. And it's just crazy that, you know, again, watching the original show, like on American TV, One Piece used to air, and it took like years to get through what I just saw in 8 episodes of One Piece in the live action. So here's the thing. Do I like the writing? I do. Do I like the acting? To some extent. I do think some of the acting is kind of cheesy. I'll be honest. I didn't like Buggy the Clown at all. Like, Buggy the Clown is meant to be pretty much solely a comedic character, right? He is. I don't think he's funny at all in this show. They try to make him menacing, but then later on he becomes comic relief. And by the way, they change the plot so that he's involved like the whole time in season 1, and in the show he's not. And it's in the show he's written out of the show after the second season. Then he comes back later for a return season, and then he's gone again. So it's weird that they made him like an overarching character over the entire season. That kind of tied things together. It was weird that they chose Buggy the Clown to be the character to do that in the live action show. I didn't really like Buggy. I think maybe Buggy is the one character I just didn't like in season 1. I am a little sad that like the big bads of the first giant parts of the show is supposed to be the Fishmen. And honestly, even though they show up over the course of the season, they just don't get a lot of time. Like I said, like there's the Fishman who's supposed to be like the Kung Fu Fishman, right? And he's a badass. Everyone fights him and loses. And then finally at the end, it's like Zoro and Sanji team up, and then there's showdowns against this guy. And finally when they beat him, it's like a huge accomplishment. And in the show, it's just like a quick fight. They just kind of like slap him around. It's like, damn, that was disappointing. He barely used anything, you know? And there's actually a running joke in the show that whenever they defeat someone, they call out their finishing move, the name of it. And everyone's like, why are you doing that? And he goes, well, every hero calls out their finishing move. It's supposed to be like, haha, you know, like anime, they do it, but obviously in real life you wouldn't, but they're doing it on the show anyway, so it's a joke. So that's kind of interesting. But anyway, that is correct. The show completely cuts things out of the anime that wouldn't be viable. For example, there's an octopus man who has 6 arms and 6 swords, and he's not in the show. Like, how the fuck would they have done that? Right? Like, the whole thing would have been like CGI, and everyone would have just like been annoyed and said, oh, the CGI sucks, right? So they just cut him completely out of the show. He's not even in the show at all. And there are things like that. Like, all filler is removed. And because the filler is removed, I think you kind of do miss out on some of the camaraderie between the crew members. Because, for example, in the show, there's filler episodes that really don't matter, but they're cool because you get to see the characters get to know each other. Like, for example, Zoro and Sanji always have this ongoing feud where they don't like each other. Even though they do kind of like each other, it's kind of like 2 quarreling brothers that don't get along and always have like a beef against each other. So in the show, that's always going down because there's all these scenes between stuff. None of that takes place in this live action show. So you don't really get, and then all of a sudden at the end, they start having like quarreling and stuff. It's like, well, you don't get that. You're like, why are they doing that? It's not apparent. It's like you cut the parts out. You know what I mean? That would have made that make sense. And honestly, like by the time you get to the end of the Fishmen arc in the actual anime, it's meaningful. To give you an example why. So they've already gone on several adventures together as a crew. And then all of a sudden it's revealed that Nami is betraying them. And it's like, what? But we've been on all these adventures. How could she possibly have been like a double agent? Oh my God. How on earth, right? It's shocking. In the show, she's only been with the crew a few episodes. And they've been fast-moving episodes. So the fact that she turns on them is kind of like, oh, it's not that big of a deal because we just met her, right? So the pacing of the show sadly does change the impact of some of the things that happen in the plot. And I don't think that they're as impactful. Like, I felt like the end of the Fishmen arc where they defeat the Fishmen in the anime is like this big resounding victory that now the crew has been solidified and all the strife is gone. And now they're on to actually have their own adventures together, right? On the show, it's just kind of like, they beat their villains, all right. It doesn't feel like that big triumphant deal because they cut so much out that it just feels like a big letdown, right? So I don't know. I still like the show. And quite honestly, now that I've watched it, I am excited for the next season. But from what I'm to understand, they are like full speed ahead, pushing towards the Alabasta plotline, which means they're going to skip a ton. Like, there's a lot that happens before they get to Alabasta in the show. They have entire seasons where they have a new crew member, right? And then it's revealed later on that she's part of this Alabasta plotline. It seems like by the end of season 2, they're already going to be in Alabasta. From what they're revealing, they're like, yes, this guy has been cast. It's like, but he's not even in the plot right now. So why are they casting people that, you know, are supposed to be way further down the story? Because they're going to skip a ton. You know what I mean? They're just going to end up skipping a ton of shit. So I don't know how I feel about the pacing. I do like the show overall. Like, I actually found it very, very, how can I say? Like, to see the anime, which has been around for a million years, right? To see that now attempted to be represented in a live-action way, but with respect given to it. Nothing there is completely and utterly disrespected, changed, or anything. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, some of the casting may be off. Yes, some of the characters may be rushed. But for the most part, they tried to accurately represent the spirit of the show, and they didn't try to turn it into something that was preachy, something that it wasn't originally. Seriously, like, I thought that it was well represented, and I actually really had a good time watching it, despite the fact that a lot of things are just so rushed and cut out. Like I said, really where I was disappointed was the end of that Fishmen arc. You just feel like, wow, triumphant victory, and everyone now is happy ending, tears in the eyes and everything when you watch the anime. In this, the show is just like, oh, all right, we beat him. On to the next. It's like, wait, damn. It just didn't feel that momentous to me because it was only 2 episodes, you know? So anyway, I really like the show. I am looking forward to the next season, which I believe comes out in March. So when that season comes out, I will talk about it and let you know my thoughts about it. But just like I just did with Fallout, I won't spoil it. I won't, you know, I'll try my best to not like spoil stuff and stuff like that, okay? So let's see what people have to say here. Rose Diamonds is surprised I know this much about One Piece. Do I watch other anime? No, One Piece I used to watch back in the day, and I followed it from time to time over the years. It's one of the few animes that I did that. And so I've also played a bunch of One Piece video games that keep recapping the plot of like the first many arcs of the show. So I know a lot about it because I've kind of re-experienced it over and over the years. And now watching this show, I kind of know a lot about it. You know, that's what it is. I really barely watch anime. Let's see here. Zelvania says he thinks that season 3 will entirely be Alabasta. So you think season 2 will be when they arrive at the Grand Line. Remember that big journey, they have to go up the mountain and all that. And then there's the plot line with the giant creature. And then probably they get to that first town where it's actually a setup. It's a town where they jump you and stuff. And I'm trying to think like everything that happens, right? Then they originally start running into Baroque Works. And you got that plot. Then they actually eventually recruit one of Baroque Works. I'm trying to remember. There's a lot to go through. So I wonder how much they'll actually do and how much they'll skip. There's a lot that they might skip. I'm a little worried about that. So, anyway. Okay. All right, guys. So, good stuff. Hope that you enjoyed me talking about the shows that I've been watching recently. You know, I wonder if you guys like them or not, because here's the thing. I haven't been talking about them, and you know, we haven't really discussed it, right? I already beat Baroque Works to protect Jasper. Yes, I did. You're correct. There you go. All right. Okay. All right. So, I have pretty much covered all the topics that I wanted to talk about today. We've already determined that the next marathon will be a retrothon. It'll be on March 6th. The only thing we need to determine is the specifics, the actual specifics. Once we determine the specifics, we'll go from there. Okay, that's good. Oh, tomorrow, DSP Tries It will be something completely different. Tomorrow, it is official. I am going to try crumble cookies. For the first time ever, we're going to do a full dessert DSP Tries It here on the show. But that means that DSP Tries It will not be during the first stream. The first stream will just be a DSP morning show and then Dragon Quest 7. And that's it. The late stream tomorrow night is RimWorld. So what we're going to do is we're going to end RimWorld a little bit on the earlier side. And we're going to do DSP Tries It crumble cookies. I'm going to get a variety box where I'm going to get, I think you can get 6 different kinds of cookie. So I'm going to order the variety box and do a taste test of each of the 6 as the DSP Tries It and let you know what I think. Okay? So that's going to be tomorrow, a very special episode of DSP Tries It on the late stream, not the first stream. And then the week after, we'll go back to it being like full meals and daytime stuff. And we'll have to figure out, we'll have a whole week to figure out what we want to do for that. Okay? Good stuff. No, I'm not watching Invincible. I've only seen season 1 of Invincible. I never even saw past season 1. To be honest, I thought Invincible was okay. I was never in love with the show. I thought it was just all right. So I don't know if I would even go back to watch it. No, the night crew never gets to see DSP Tries It. DSP Tries It is always something I do at the end of my first stream because it's always a meal that I eat right before my break and then my second stream. So this will be very different. Yeah, exactly. I'm only going to basically be trying like a bite of each cookie. It'll be a rare time when I'm actually having like a dessert on stream tomorrow. Yes. TX Shooter, how are you, man? Good to see you. What's going on? Here's what we'll do. Since we have a little bit of extra time, let's open up the stream to Q&A. You guys tag me in the chats. Let's see what you guys want to talk about today. Okay? What's on everyone's mind? Yes, Somos, I'll be doing crumble cookies tomorrow. That'll be the DSP Tries It. And then after that, we got to figure out what would be the next thing, because it would be a meal again. Would I play Bannerlord again as a night stream? Most people didn't seem interested in Bannerlord. The feedback I got after I finished playing Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord was, we're glad you checked it out, because we didn't know what it was. Now we've seen what it is, but man, that was boring. Please don't play it again. You know? So unless there is some kind of a rallying and people are like, yeah, do it, I'm probably never playing it again. Yeah, that's true. So basically what some people are saying in chat here is that season 2 of One Piece will likely be they arrive at the Grand Line, there's that whole arc, and then after that they got to meet Tony Chopper and his storyline. That'll probably be season 2. And then season 3 will be Alabasta. I could see that. I guess we'll have to see. What do I think of the casting for the God of War TV show? So far, it looks pretty good. I mean, I've only seen like social media postings about it. I haven't really like researched it, but it looks like the casting seems good. The only thing that's weird about the God of War TV show, they're literally going right to the Nordic, or the, not Nordic, the Norse plotline. They're skipping the entire origin of Kratos. So I don't know how you're going to understand it, because the whole point of the God of War reboot with the Norse plotline is that he has this dark past because you know the old games. So you know who he was. Now he's a completely different person, or at least he's trying to be a different person. And it's that growth and that transformation arc that makes the plot so meaningful. But if you don't have that background, because they're skipping it. So they're just going right to the redemption arc, but you don't know what he's being redeemed from. That's kind of confusing. No, I'm not interested in playing NASCAR. It's too much of a sim, and I don't really like sim driving games, to be honest with you. What the hell is this song? I'll tell you what it is. It's a thumbs down. So I don't have to hear it again. That was terrible. Okay. I mean, that's true too. Rebel Yellow says probably so it would be cheaper because he fights all titans and monsters in the OG games. Right. And there's no budget for that. Exactly right. Mr. Yes, we already, earlier on this show, which I urge you to rewind and watch, we went through every game from the marathon. Deadlock is 100% a game that I would consider playing as a real, stream because I really enjoyed it. I thought that it was great. I had a great time playing it, and I would like to learn more about it and actually, get better at it and play it more, but I don't know if it would work, if people want to see that or not, but I would be down for it, okay? Any chance I would consider playing Dispatch? Probably not. Not too interested in it, honestly. Like, when I heard what the plot was about and everything, I was like, not really my cup of tea. So, I didn't play it. And to be honest, I don't think narrative-based games just do that well for me anymore. At one point, narrative-based games were the best playthroughs I did. Heavy Rain, The Walking Dead. But I think a couple things happened. Number one, there were so many of them that it kind of got played out to see me play these narrative-based games. It just wasn't that entertaining anymore because I had played literally like dozens and dozens of them as they all came out. I mean, hell, Telltale Game went out of business because they kind of oversaturated the market with samey games, right? So that's number one. And number two, quite frankly, I just think a lot of things changed over the years. When I became an interactive streamer, it became more about seeing me actually play games that have challenging gameplay or a lot of opportunities for us to interact during said gameplay because I became an interactive streamer. When I was doing these kind of narrative-based games offline, on-demand, videos, since it was just me playing them and focusing just on the commentary and all of that, it became a lot more immersive. And it became a situation where, like, okay, I'm not going to play the game for myself. I'll watch Phil play it and do his commentary, right? Now, when I try to do something narrative-based, it doesn't really work that well anymore. Like, people are like, oh, it's boring. All he's doing is just a story. He's just reading or whatever, right? And it's like, yeah, I guess you're right. Like, there was a time when I used to do visual novels, like Phoenix Wright or Danganronpa, right? And people would tune into 60 parts of a series to watch me play the game. Now I barely get anyone to watch me play those kind of games. They don't really care anymore. I just think the times are a-changing, right? And as they change, you got to adapt with the times. So I really don't play that style of game. I don't think this one would work. I think people would find it boring. But I could be wrong. But, in general, I wasn't too interested in the game or its plot. And the narrative-based stuff hasn't worked. So that's why I didn't play Dispatch, and I'm still not really interested in it. Ultra Kill sounds familiar, Snake Sauce, but I don't actually know what that is. Ultra Kill, I think we looked at it once, didn't we? Play The Expanse soon? Yeah, isn't there going to be a game based on The Expanse, but it plays like Mass Effect? I think that's the case, right? Like, it's actually like a game that they're trying to play like Mass Effect because there is no Mass Effect anymore. That's kind of interesting. No, I'm not going back to Arc Raiders. I don't know why you would want me to go back to Arc Raiders. People got bored of it. No, I'm not going to play Call of Duty again. No one cares about Call of Duty when I play it. So the answer is no and no. Am I going to check out the finale of Life is Strange in March? Is it really the finale? I probably will end up doing it. Only because I've played every mainline Life is Strange game up to now, even as cringy as they have gotten. And I feel like it's something that I've had investment in over these years. I probably will play it. Even if it ends up not being that popular, I'll probably still play it. Warhammer 40k Dawn of War 4. Any thoughts? I don't know what that is. What is Dawn of War 4? What's going on, Space Jam fam? How are you today? Good to see you. Do I have any hope for the new Mass Effect game? Like, here's the thing. Of course, I want to have hope. I want it to be good. But BioWare has not put out anything good in many years. So, do you have hope? You know what I mean? Like, when was the last time BioWare put out anything good at all? Dragon Age Inquisition? Seriously, like, everything has been horrible for over a decade. So, what makes you think that they're going to make a Mass Effect game good? I don't, what are you going to do? Now, you see, Clearly Not Jamie says, it's a shame you didn't get much out of Arc Raiders. I disagree. Streamers make so much money playing that game, but you need to get yourself into interesting situations. No, you just need to play the shit out of the game and only play the game. Like, that style of game, you need to become an Arc Raider streamer. Right? Just like there were people who were Fortnite streamers. You just have to dedicate yourself to being that player and playing it every day, multiple times, interacting with people, whether it's solos, whether you have a dedicated team that you play with. Like, you just have to be completely immersed in that game and its universe, and then people will start coming by to hang out with you just for that game, right? I am a variety streamer. I always have been. I'm a variety creator. I don't like just playing one game. Even though I like fighting games, I won't just play fighting games because I get bored. So because of that, just by that methodology and that practice, I'm never going to have a ginormous following come to watch me play Arc Raiders. It just will never happen, right? Now, I disagree with you. I think I got a ton out of Arc Raiders. I played it for about 2 months, right? We started right at the end of November, and we played it all the way through late January. And I did tons of streams of it. I saw all the different maps. You learned how to use all these different weapons. I did epic fights against different robots. Had great interactions with other people. I bought a microphone just to talk with people in Arc Raiders. Literally, that's what I used it for. So I feel like I got a good amount out of it. 2 months of a game in the rotation. It was fun. It was also good variety to break up everything else because I wasn't doing a lot of multiplayer stuff at the time. So I feel like I got a ton out of it. Certainly, I'm not going to become a dedicated Arc Raider streamer, so I'm never going to get millions of views and make millions of dollars playing the game. But that's just me. That's not who I am. What are my plans for the lapel mic and filming stick? Can we expect to see you use those in February? I have the ability to use them for anything I want. I just don't have any plans right now. I'm too busy. Like, if ever I say, listen, let's say, for example, my wife and I decide to make plans to go somewhere and maybe eat a meal out, and we want to actually do like an in-restaurant review. Well, we can do that now. I have the stick. I have the mics. The camera has, apps and stuff, and you could do it. I could. But I really, are we chomping at the bit for that content right now? Everyone wants me to play a whole bunch of different video games. No one is saying, Phil, we're dying for IRL restaurant reviews. It's good that I have the stuff. It's good to have that ability. If at any time we decide to just drop stuff and go do something different, we could. And that's really what it was about, was having the capability rather than, I'm planning to just go do it now, but what? So here's a real question. What's the big deal? Right? I bought some stuff. I could use it if I want. Right now, there doesn't seem to be a real reason to use it. People are enjoying the content I'm doing. So what's the problem? I bought it and spent money on something not to actually use it. Killer B, can I ask you a question? What the fuck is it your business? I could buy whatever I want and use it or not use it. It's my money. Right? It's cool to show it off. Say, hey, look, I got the mic. Who cares if I use it? What are you obsessing on? Why do you care? How is it any of your business whatsoever would I ever use anything for? But what are you talking about? My debt collectors care? I don't have any debt collectors, stupid. Debt collectors? I don't have any debt collectors whatsoever. See, here it comes. This sick, twisted mentality of some people on the internet. So wait a minute, let me get this straight. Because I'm a public streamer, I stream publicly, and people like the content and they support it, and then I buy stuff with the money, somehow there's a weird entitlement of people on the internet to think that you control anything I do. There is no control whatsoever. Now, if I'm a good content creator, I'll listen to feedback. I'll say, hey, yeah, you want this, you want that, you want this game over that game, you want this project over that project, you want input on the next marathon. I listen. I'm interactive with my audience. But you have absolutely no entitlement whatsoever to anything, right? You don't. You bought a selfie stick. Now you must go film with it. No, I could literally go throw this out right now, put it in a trash can, and there's nothing you can do about it. And it's also none of your business. You have no entitlement. That's actually obsessive, bizarre behavior that you would think that you control my ability to use this for something. You're a weirdo. If you actually feel like that right now, you actually are too attached to the internet, and you should turn off your viewing device and go do something else with your life. I mean that too. Just go away. Because that's actually really broken mindset. That's like a cracked thinking. Phil bought a selfie stick with money that he made on his stream making content. He better make something with that now or else. Huh? Who the fuck are you? Are you for real? Are you insane? What I mean, serious, what kind of a world have we created that humans are sitting on the internet all day and this is the way that they think? That's bizarre shit, man. I don't know. That's true. Someone just brought it up. It says, you said you would use the lapel mics when you do the closet clean out. I could definitely do that. That's actually a pretty valid use for it. When we do the Indivestance Day closet clean out this year, I can have this on me the whole time. And that way you'll be able to hear me talking when I'm taking stuff in and out of the closet. Yeah, and that way it's not just silence half the time like it was last time and everyone complained. There you go. That's valid use for it. Sure, absolutely. Perfect. There you go. So that's one thing to look forward to. But again, like, here's the thing. Maybe eventually I'll go to an event and I'll want to cover it. I can't tell anyone I'm going to the event because then idiots would show up and try to harass me and fucking the police would get called and shit. You know what I'm saying? We don't want that, right? So it would have to be something you don't even know about, okay? So I wouldn't even tell you, even if I had intention to use it, I can't. All right? Maybe I will eventually do content in my house where I can use microphones and stuff like that. Maybe I won't. Who cares? It's none of your business. No, we're not continuing Mountain Blade 2. I just explained twice during this podcast. There you go. Clearly not. Jamie says, well, obviously I'm entitled to your leftover dinners. There you go. You see, you watched my content. You supported it. I bought food for DSP Tries It, but I didn't finish it. You're apparently entitled to the leftovers, right? Oh, boy. You're not funny. I did not ban you. I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't even see you in chat today. You're Not Funny sent me a buck saying he thinks I banned him, but I never saw him. Maybe you were previously banned and you didn't realize it because it wasn't me. Yeah, you're not anywhere in the chat logs. Look. I guess I have to unban you again. I don't know who banned you. I don't think it was today. It might have been during the marathon and you didn't realize it. Because, yeah, I just scrolled up like an hour and you're not there. So I guess I got to unban you again. I think I might have actually, like, favorited your... I might have, like, favorited your page because you got banned so much. Let me see if I have it. No, I might not have it anymore. No, I need the ad address of your channel again to unban you. But I didn't ban you, dude. Apparently, You're Not Funny. He says he's been trying to talk to me the entire time about the Fallout show, but he didn't know that he was banned, so he was talking to himself. He didn't know his messages weren't going through. Yeah, well, I didn't know you were banned either because I didn't see any of your messages. Oh, brother. Well, I need your ad address again. If you send me the ad address of your channel, I'll unban you. Okay. Sheesh. Okay. Did he? Are people saying they might remember that he got banned on Friday? I don't know. It probably wasn't me. You got to understand, Friday, all right, was a marathon. I was drinking all day, so I couldn't actively moderate. And my moderators were coming in and trying to help out as much as they could during the course of the day, but they couldn't handle all the trolling. So it is what it is. Like, I'm sure some people got mismoderated and stuff on Friday. I don't know what happened, you know. Let's see if it shows as banned or not. Yeah, it shows as banned. I don't know who banned you because it wasn't me. And like I said, I don't think it was today. I actually think it was probably Friday because I haven't seen you once in chat today. So there you go. Now you're unbanned. Don't know. It would have been nice if YouTube had instituted something to see this kind of stuff at some point. But here we are, how many years streaming on YouTube, and they still don't have anything. They just never bothered. Like I said, when I started streaming on YouTube, basically what happened... Oh, here we go. He's back. Let me see if I can see your chat history now. Yeah, it must have been. Here you are talking in the gaming marathon. It doesn't show you getting banned. I don't know. That's what I mean. The YouTube chat logs are terrible. They don't really show anything. So I can't even tell what happened. When I started when I started streaming full-time on YouTube, YouTube had decided that they were going to add all these new features and do all this new stuff, and then nothing ever came. They said that they were going to add all this new stuff for the streaming service, and they just kind of gave up and just never added anything. So that it doesn't even have the features of like any other streaming service. It's pretty silly. The funny part is, absolute best visual quality of anywhere you can stream, right? More qualities available, so if you stream at 4K, it'll give you like 10 qualities under there, which is absolutely amazing, okay? It has all these awesome things in that way. But then when it comes to the basic stream, can't even have a moving emote on YouTube chat. That's too hard. Moving GIFs or GIFs, oh, too hard. Can't do that. Everyone else does it. You're the only service that does it. You can't do it. Chat log, so I could just type in someone's name and see what they've said. He said something that was under review and another mod banned him. Oh, I don't know. All right. Well, you're unbanned. I have no idea what it was. Thank you, Celluloid Dreamer, for 100 kicks. That's our first kicks of the day. I appreciate that very much. Thank you so much. If you remember, here's a little fun discussion. YouTube at one point, they were basically trying to say that they were going to be the leading place to stream. And they actually had YouTube Gaming. Do you remember this? YouTube had its own separate part of the site for just gamers. And they had an app, the YouTube Gaming app, that was supposed to be like Twitch, basically. And they launched it, and they paid a bunch of money to certain streamers. Didn't they pay Ninja to be on there and stuff like that? So they paid everyone a ton of money to go to it, and everyone did for like a year, and then YouTube just gave up. They just said, fuck it. And they stopped updating it. They closed the app. They closed everything. And since then, they just haven't focused on streaming at all. It's like, what happened? So now it's just shorts. YouTube shorts. They're fucking idiots. YouTube fucking shorts aren't making YouTube $1. They're just so dumb. Chasing trends. You know what it is? YouTube's just like everyone else. They chase trends. Rather than creating their own or doing things that are truly innovative and original that people would want to be a part of, they just copy everyone else and chase the trends. They're completely unoriginal, pathetic. I did not join Mixer, no. I knew about it, but I never streamed on it. That one was short-lived. Anything else you guys would like to talk about before we adjourn and get set up for Hollow Knight? Today in Hollow Knight, we got some good stuff to do. So, in Hollow Knight, we are in the Crystal Caverns or Crystal Mines. We got to finish that up, and apparently there's some good stuff that's going to happen in there for what I'm to understand. And then we have choices to make. We can take a tram to a whole bunch of places, or we could go back to some of the areas that I didn't completely explore, and we can explore them. Basically, what's happened is people are leaving comments, and also some people are like emailing me and giving me all these tips about the game. And I'm like, damn, I don't even know what I want to do. The game is so open. It's very different from Silksong in that way. It's so open in the ways you can do things you do. So I'm not sure what I want to do. Robust content, you better have not been lying about that. That's awful. And if you just lied about that, I'm just going to ban your ass. Yep. You're a liar. So get banned, stupid idiot. Okay. Hello to I don't know how to pronounce your name. Diumu. It's so hard to pronounce your name. How you doing? No, I did not own a Commodore 64. Hollow Knight is coming. We're just ending the podcast. Am I shocked Mixer died so prematurely? No. Not at all. I'm not shocked whatsoever by that. It's just another one of these things that these major corporations are trend chasing. They try to copy everyone else. They throw a whole bunch of money into it, but they have no guidance. They have absolutely no originality. They have no real ideas. They just think that if they do what everyone else did, but they throw more money at it, they'll be more successful, and then they fail, and then they move on. They act like it never happened. All right, guys, I think we're going to adjourn. It seems like we've exhausted the topics that people wanted to talk about, and it was a chill time. I had a good time with the show. I hope that you guys did too. Now, there will not be a podcast tomorrow, all right? There will be more podcasts this week. I just don't know when exactly. Like I said, what I like to do is I like to do a podcast on a day when I have a lot of topics and things to cover. So if something happens and I want to react to it, like a new game trailer drops or there's big game news that happens, we'll probably end up doing a podcast. If not, then we'll probably end up doing, morning shows where we just hang out for like a half an hour to an hour. And that way we can get a lot more gameplay out of said stream. So let's see how the week goes. We'll play it by ear. There absolutely will be more podcasts this week. But at the same time, I don't know when. I will let you know, what happens, all right? So, guys, thank you. I hope that you enjoyed today's episode of the Level 1 podcast. I know I did. It's always a chillin' fun time, all right? Cool. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hope that you guys had a good one. It will return soon. But in the meantime, I hope you'll stick around for Hollow Knight. I hope you'll be here for Indies tonight. Tomorrow, we got Dragon Quest. We got a lot of stuff coming up this week. More Street Fighter new games on Tuesday. Thank you all for chilling. I will see you soon.